Come on in, like the video, like, share, and subscribe. We're going to talk all things big, beautiful bill. Big, beautiful bill. Kind of like the bold and the beautiful. The big and the beautiful. The Big, Beautiful Bill Act. So come on in. We're going to talk about this new act that Trump managed to get passed. In a prayer, he managed to pass the bill. Come on in here. Let's talk about it. Like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Double tap to like the video. This Big Beautiful Bill Act. You know, I had a lot to say about it yesterday. And we did that in a couple of takes because my internet was just kind of hating on me. But we back again. We back at it. We are back at it. And still, people are not happy about it. Yesterday, we kind of talked about just the different things that are in it. But today, I want to spend time talking about specifically Medicaid, Social Security. John, what's up, John? Welcome. Double tap the screen, you all. Like the video, please. It help with the algorithm. John says, did the Senate pass the Big Beautiful Bill Act? Yes, this bill got passed. It was passed in the wee hours on Thursday early. So what's today? Friday. So it was passed Thursday early in the morning. So I guess they probably went at it on Wednesday. And then it kind of crossed overnight until early Thursday morning. And it got the votes it needed. It actually passed by one vote. I think it was 112 to 113. It was just barely. And based off of the numbers, the Trump administration, the Republicans, they were expecting for the Democrats to do a hard pass. Do a hard pass. And with since there's more Republicans, they could only afford to not have five Republicans say no in order for it to still pass. And it was I think they got it by one or two. I think it was a couple of them that said no. So they barely got it. You all. But they made it happen. The Trump administration is super happy about getting this Big Beautiful Bill Act passed. So we're going to talk about it because a lot of the concern that I'm seeing is centered around Social Security, Medicaid, things that impact the seniors. So if you are a senior, let me know let me know how you feel about this. Because right now, if you're 64 and up, 65 and up, these things kind of are impacting you right now. Somebody like me who just 44, I got a little time before I start to be reliant on Social Security or maybe even Medicaid. But there are a lot of people today who are here. They're yo, Sheik, I'm here. These things are impacting me now. So I want to talk about it and just get as much information, provide as much information that I can centered around the Medicaid cuts, Social Security, because he ran on not wanting to tax Social Security, people's Social Security checks. So we're going to talk about that because some people are wondering, did that make it to the bill? Because that's what he ran on. So did it make it to the bill? Did it make it to the bill? Is it in this Big Beautiful Bill Act? Double tap the screen. We're going to get into some things. Come on in. Y'all do me right. Act like you got some sense. Mamas, they'll be coming soon, y'all. So don't be showing out because they listen, they don't play no games. They start moving and shaking in here in this chat, blocking. So just be respectful in here to myself as the host and just my guest. And let's get it. Let me know if you are now impacted or if you will be impacted in present time based off of your age or what your medical condition is, whatever. If you are going to be impacted by the changes with the Medicaid and as well as with the Social Security. So let's get into it. Let's get into some things. Double tap the screen. Listen, it's 74, y'all. Double tap the screen. Look and like the video. We can do them both at the same time. Look and like the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of you who are coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, this big beautiful bill act. Where we gonna start? Where we gonna start? The hidden provisions in the budget bill undermines the democracy. So that is the headline for one of these the articles that I'm reading, the campaignlegal.org. So it's saying, listen, there are some hidden things in this bill. There are some hidden things. So we're going to talk about what's hidden, what's potentially hidden in here in this bill that you just may not be aware of, because they said it's like 1,000 pages, like it's long. So no, I ain't read it. I ain't read it. We go through the cliff notes over here. So as I get into the big beautiful bill act, keep in mind that I am not looking at the 1,000 pages of the act. I am looking at these articles that are pretty much providing a summary of what is in the act. It's a summary. So as I talk about these things, this is where I need for you to do your part and to go out here and to do your research, to get into it, to learn more about whatever it is that I'm talking about that's supposedly in this act. Yeah. Help me help you. Help me help you. We are honor students over here. I affectionately call my subscribers honor students. Become a subscriber today. Like the videos. 91 of you in here. Just like the video. It just helps me with the algorithm so I can get this information out. Each one, teach one. So that's what we are doing today. If you want to send a super chat, that's fine too. If that puts color in the chat, I can read your comment. It takes priority. Sometimes get crazy in the chat, but if I see your name and your comment in color, it helps it to pop and I can shout you out and read your comment. Also, if you want to become a member of my channel, for $2.99, I have memberships and you would be a political honor student. And also your name would show up in color and I can prioritize your comment. So let's get into it. Listen, it's totally more than 1,000 pages. More than 1,000 pages. Most of the attention on the budget bill has centered around issues like the tax code, Medicaid, and immigration. However, there are more hidden in the House's reconciliation proposal, including two provisions Campaign Legal Center has identified that would severely harm voters and threaten the rule of law. So let's get into it. What are these things? The attack on the judicial branch. The first of these outrageous policies, buried in the section 70302 of the legislation, which severely restricts federal courts' authority to hold government officials in contempt if they violate the judicial order. So y'all know Trump already be running around doing like what he want to do anyway, like on this Who Gonna Check Me Boo. What's up? Just say when. It's 95 of you all in the building. Double tap the screen. Give your girl a like. It's free. It don't cost you a thing. So listen, already in this bill, it would severely restrict federal courts' authority to hold government officials in contempt if they violate the judicial's orders. So y'all remember not that long ago, Trump put them people, I call them on them spirit flights, and flew them over to El Salvador. Y'all remember when Trump did that? And people like, oh, hold on, Kemosabe, somebody need to check him. And ain't nobody checked him. He's still doing what he want to do. That man is still walking free. And he put them people on that plane and send them over yonder. Y'all remember that? And people are looking for the court system. Somebody, they let Jesus, somebody need to come down and check this man because he out here doing what he want to do. He running rampant in these streets. So in this one big beautiful bill act, it minimizes the how somebody who does that can be punished. What's up, Dr. J? Listen, y'all about to be working today, mods. Listen, I done already told them, act like you know. Don't start none, won't be none. My mods, listen, they be on it. So don't be crying if you get kicked up out of this chat. Act like you got some sense and listen, we can all get through this together. Together. Is that Annie? We'll always be together. Annie, listen, we on some Annie. We together up in here. So stick around, like the video, get through the video. My lives be long, but child, I be bringing it to you. So hang around, get comfortable. So this bill is severely restricting federal courts' authority to hold government officials in contempt if they violate judicial orders. A court's ability to hold bad actors in contempt is a vital enforcement power that judges can use to compel compliance with their rulings. When somebody chooses to violate court orders, the judge who issued the ruling has a few different options to force them to comply, including holding them in contempt and issuing sanctions, fines, or even jail time as punishment. So remember, people were like pissed off, like what? Somebody need to lock him up. What we doing? Find something. Listen, he out here running amok. He doing what he want to do. He doing what he want to do. So y'all remember that. People was mad. They was big mad. So remember, this big beautiful bill was like, listen, you can be mad all you want to, but we gonna still make it do what he do, and we still gonna be good. That's basically what I'm getting up out of this act, y'all. It's over 1,000 pages. So keep that in mind. The big beautiful bill act is over 1,000 pages. The reconciliation bill will require anyone suing the government to pay a bond before the court can use its contempt power to enforce injunctions, and restraining orders must meant to halt illegal actions. So if you want to sue the government, y'all know we in the USA, maybe some of y'all don't know, but in the USA, we sue, the American people sue everybody. They sue their mama, they daddy, they child, they dog, they cat, they goat. This is what we do over here in the USA. You can get a lawsuit. You can get a lawsuit. You can get a lawsuit. Like everybody can get that work over here. Everybody can get that work over here. So with this is saying, oh, okay, so if you want to try to sue the government, you trying to sue? You trying to sue? Because y'all know that everybody named mama trying to sue President Trump. That I ain't never seen a politician that lives in the court. Like he spend about as much time in the courts as he does behind that desk hunched over talking about these great ideas that he woke up with. That's what it looks like to me. So they're like, all right, then anyone want to sue the government, you got to pay a bond before the court can contempt the power. So you got to pay. You got to pay like you weigh. If you want to sue, you got to come out your pocket and you have to pay for that. You're paying for this. You want to sue the government? All right, then. Well, you must got some coins because you about to pay for this because it's not free. You're going to pay to sue the government. By restricting this authority, the House bill threatens the power of the judicial branch. It's on its own that represents an attack on the rule of law and a separation of powers that underlines our democracy. But in context of our current political moment, a more specific goal is unfortunately clear. Courts have already ruled at least 170 times against the Trump administration, including preliminary injunctions sought by the CLC that halted Trump's unconstitutional attempt to change the rules for federal elections. In response to many of the rulings, the president has resisted compliance and waged intimidation campaigns targeting the judge's responsibility. So remember, I done told y'all, like, he's used to people coming for him. So he like, listen, we got to change some things because everybody be coming for me, but I need some, listen, I need some elbow room. So let me put something in this bill that's kind of going, that's going to help with that, because people be coming at me hard. So we got to try to put something out there that can kind of reduce some of this heat, this smoke that I'm getting. So that's why there's a piece. I don't know if we want to call it a little piece or a big piece, but y'all need to know it's in there. It is in there, and it's centered around you being able to come for President Trump and how he out here moving in these political streets in the U.S. of A. Oscar, what's up? You said, I really would like to see a bill for the federal flat tax cut at 2%. Joseph said, look, Trump belong in prison, period. I ain't got nothing to say, Sheik. That's all I got to say. I ain't got nothing else to say for the rest of the live. B, well, you said, what's the source of my article? This one right now that I'm looking at is from campaignlegal.org. So it's CLC, so it's campaignlegal.org. And the article is called "The Hidden Provisions in the Budget Bill Undermine Our Democracy." So check it out. This one was published yesterday on May 22nd, 2025. Campaignlegal.org. Get into it. That is what I'm getting into, because yesterday I did kind of went high level on what's in the bill, but today I'm kind of going to more specifics, and it seems like with a lot of people, their attention is on the Medicaid piece and the Social Security piece. So we are going to definitely kind of go deep into those areas. But there's some other things that I came across, and I'm like, yo, the people need to know, because I didn't even touch on this yesterday. Y'all, it's over 1,000 pages. It's over 1,000 pages. So keep in mind, as I'm giving you the tea of the Big Beautiful Bill Act, I'm just summarizing what's in over 1,000 pages. So do your research. Go to the net and do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. So let's get back into it. In light of all this, the House bill seems squarely and unacceptably focused on shielding the Trump administration from accountability when it breaks the law. They said, listen, somebody need to hold this man accountable. But now that he inserted this little piece into the Big Beautiful Bill Act, it's giving him more leeway to do what he wants to do, what he feels he needs to do. However you want to slice it and dice it, the Big Beautiful Bill Act allows for him to move the way in which he moves. So it's protection. It's protection. It's protection. So now, as he continues to do what he do, how he do it, he can refer you to that Big Beautiful Bill Act and be like, listen, Linda, listen. The people have voted. How I'm moving out here aligns with what is outlined in the Big Beautiful Bill Act. Period. Period. Don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. Like, that's the energy. That who gonna check me boo energy, however you want to describe it. That's the energy that he's coming with in this Big Beautiful Bill Act. Let's see. To make matters worse, the new bill would be so broad that it could allow any government actor to escape being accountable for violating the court orders. It would also apply to court orders and injunctions issued before the law takes effect. This would also render thousands of prior orders across the country immediately unenforceable through contempt proceedings, no matter how the public has already relied on them. So he like, listen, Linda, listen. You got pissed off at me from what I did 30 days ago, and you trying to do suit and raise it up to the judicial system. This Big Beautiful Bill Act said, nah, you can't do it, because the Big Beautiful Bill Act allows for those certain things to be ignored. It allows for, it can be ignored. It's just like, listen, we have a new rules in place. So what you was mad about, now with this new rule in place, we don't really have to pay you no mind like that. Let me read this again. To make matters worse, the new rule would be so broad that it could allow any government actor to escape from being held accountable for court violating orders. It will also apply to court orders and injunctions issued before the law takes effect. This would render thousands of prior orders across the country immediately unenforceable through contempt proceedings, no matter how the public has already relied on them. So he said he don't give a ish how you feel, what you've been. Listen, Linda, listen. He said it's a new day. I didn't change. Listen, I didn't put it in. Y'all go find that over 1,000+ page Big Beautiful Bill Act and get into it, because he's saying, listen, the way I'm moving, it now aligns with what's able to be done, because the act was signed. It was signed. This provision cannot be allowed to stand, the article says. No government official, including the president, should be able to simply ignore court rulings that find their actions illegal or constitutional. The rule of law in our democracy itself depends on it. Y'all let me know. Are y'all here for this piece? I don't know if you want to call it a little piece or a big piece, because it's over 1,000 pages. It's a lot of things that's touched on in this Big Beautiful Bill Act. But right now, I'm letting you know that Trump has it in this Big Beautiful Bill Act that you can't think you can just finna be running and suing him because you pissed off, or you and your feelings about how he moving out here in these political streets in the US of A. He said you're going to have to work through all them emotions. He's like, listen, you're going to have to work through all them emotions because I have included it in this big, beautiful bill act. And it says that I'm able to basically move how I move. I'm able to move how I move. D-Dub says that would require 61 votes to pass Senate since it's technically not a budget proposal. Jonathan said, let them cook. Linda, listen. We voted for this. Listen, Linda, listen. For those of you in the back, he got the votes. Yesterday, people were like in the chat, like, it ain't passed yet. Oh, yes, the hell it did. It passed when you was asleep. You just didn't know. You was asleep. It's okay. You was just asleep. It passed in the wee hours. Y'all heard somebody in the news and talking about my grandmama used to say, if anything happens after midnight, it ain't right. If it's happening after midnight, it ain't right. And y'all, like this passed in the wee hours, like early Thursday morning. Yeah, while many people were asleep. I'm on East Coast. So I know I was asleep, but yesterday afternoon, right before I went live, I learned how learned that it passed. But a lot of people didn't know it passed. Some of you maybe didn't know it passed. But listen, it's here. It's here. Like the video. 243 of you in here. I'm cooking. Like the video. And it's not about me and what I like and all that. Y'all, I'm just reading. I'm just giving you the tea what's in this 1,000+ page bill. I'm helping you because it's a lot of, this bill is going to impact everybody. It's not a matter of if it will impact you. It's a matter of how. If you are a U.S. citizen, if you live in America, it's a matter of how will it impact you, not if, but how. C-Rest says, it wouldn't matter if you were awake or not. It depends on who you voted for. What time they start doesn't matter to anyone. They got the vote. But it wasn't like no landslide. Like, we ain't gonna get that twisted. He got the vote. But it wasn't no landslide like how when he got the vote, the presidential vote back in November. It wasn't nothing like that. But he did get the vote. He had, out of all the Republicans, there were like 2 that voted against it. So, like, he barely kind of got it. But he did. He went to work and he got the big, beautiful bill act passed. So let's move on. The second piece of this article, so I'm in the campaignlegal.org, CLC. So campaignlegal.org. I am talking about the Big Beautiful Bill Act and these concerns, these things that many Americans are complaining about. Like, they're like, F this bill. Like, this is some bull. This is bad. So I'm taking a deep dive to try to figure out, like, why do people feel this way? I'm learning more today than I did yesterday when I did a live. And there were 2, listen, child, my internet was just effing me over yesterday. So it was broken into 2. Check out my lives from yesterday, part 1 and part 2. Today, we're trying to do this in one take, God willing. A flood of false information in elections. The second problematic provision found that within Section 43201C of the House Reconciliation Bill, it would impose a 10-year ban on the enforcement of all states and local laws that regulate artificial intelligence, AI, including rules for AI use in political campaigns and elections. Currently, more than 20 states have already enacted laws to address the election misinformation and manipulation made easy by new AI tools. These laws are meant to address the real challenges of our democracy, like fake content that misleads voters about the candidates or issues on their ballot. So basically, it's saying there's a 10-year ban on the enforcement of all state and local laws that regulate AI use. As the technology develops, the public has already seen how AI can be used to depict events that never actually happened, discourage participation in elections, and even create false admissions of election interference. To protect voters from these harms, CLC and others have called on Congress to pass strong regulations regulating AI use in democratic process. However, Congress has so far failed to act. In that void, states across the country have stepped up and enacted safeguards such as prohibiting AI from being used to intentionally deceive voters and requiring disclaimers that inform the public when election ads use content manipulated or generated with AI. So, with the new bill, they're basically making it more, it's making it able to be, for AI to be used like more than, like sometimes I didn't know really AI was being used like this, where it's just like they just, I know AI is inserted into our world, but I didn't realize like it was a problem like that to where we needed to have it included in this big beautiful bill act when it comes to like elections and things like that. So what they're saying is that yes, AI, the use of AI, they're broadening it for it to be able to be used like more than what it's been used, or the amount that it has been used. Some people have had a problem with it. The Big Beautiful Bill Act was like, no, AI is here. We can use it. Listen, we using it how we use it. However we using it, we using it. Whether you think it's lies, manipulation, or whatever, AI is here and we are using it. If the House reconciliation package is allowed to override these state laws, Congress will not have only failed in its own duty to regulate AI, but actively prevent other lawmakers from protecting their constituents. Simply put, a 10-year ban on enforcing AI laws across the country could mean a decade of false information that undermines voters' right to make informed decisions. So the Big Beautiful Bill Act, so there's some states that have a ban on like the use of like AI. So this Big Beautiful Bill Act is removing that, and it's saying you can't put a ban on AI. So when you're removing this ban on AI, it leaves open opportunities for people to do whatever the freak they want centered around the AI, which could be the manipulation of information and things that's being put out there to you that that impacts the American people, how they view things, their vote, and all of that. Y'all know AI is real. You got AI out here making new new songs from the late Tupac, Biggie, whatever. You like, damn, that sounds just like him. We might have AI during Chris Brown concert because y'all know he locked up, and I do got tickets for the August show. So they might have AI running that thing because he's somewhere behind somebody's bars, but we ain't finna get into that. But I'm just letting y'all know AI can do a lot of stuff. AI can do a lot of stuff. Trump was like, listen, for y'all state, they got a ban on the use of AI. We're snatching that away for 10 years. For 10 years, there is a ban against you putting a ban on the use of AI. Y'all see? Y'all see? He like, listen, AI is here. So y'all need to, y'all states that's putting a ban on the use of AI, that's a thing of the past. We're not doing that anymore. You might, I mean, regardless of how you feel, if it's going to be lies put out there, whatever, listen, Linda, listen. This is the Big Beautiful Bill Act, and I need for you to get with it. That's what listen, that's what Caroline said, listen, at the press conference yesterday. She said it with her chest. She like, listen, that ish got proved. It's here. It's done. Don't talk to me about what you don't want, what you don't like, whatever. Oh, well, don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. That was the energy I got from her yesterday. I'm just saying. Argue with your, listen. She like, it's here. It's here. It's here. I'm not lying when somebody saying stop lying for Trump. Listen, y'all, I'm putting this information out here. It's out here. I'm looking at the campaignlegal.org. Get into it. It's out here, y'all. Everything I tell y'all, it be out here, y'all. Be out here. So let me see. What else is talking about? American democracy is already facing unprecedented challenges. The rule of law is under attack while public confidence in our elected leaders and government institutions continue to falter. If Congress enacts these two provisions buried in the House budget bill, the situation will only get worse. Listen, listen, Linda, listen. I done told y'all, y'all can't say y'all didn't know. You may not like it, but this is what it's saying. These are the hidden provisions in this bill. Listen. This is what's in that Big Beautiful Bill Act. So look into it. It's over 1,000 pages. Let me see. Let me pull up. Somehow, hold on. Pull up all my resources. What happened? All my little pages and went down that I was speaking from, but it's all right. It's okay. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel. How y'all feel about the Big Beautiful Bill Act? Medicaid. Medicaid cuts. Next on the docket. Medicaid cuts. We're going to talk about these Medicaid cuts. All right. We've moved over to MedicareRights.org. MedicareRights.org. We're going to see what they're talking about because they're talking about these Medicaid cuts. Y'all double tap the screen like the video. Aztec said facial recognition software running in conjunction with immovable cameras. Very dangerous. Zachary says, yes, it's real, but it should be regulated. This is beyond... yeah, I mean, it's here. He's like, listen, I'm removing those states who are banning right now the use of AI for however when it comes to however they're banning it. I live in Georgia. I don't know if we're one of the states that have any type of ban on the use of AI. I haven't heard about it being here. But he's like, listen, it's removed. That ban is removed for 10 years. So y'all don't be out here losing your mind with AI because this man didn't remove the ban on the use of AI. Listen, act like you got some sense, like my request in this chat. Just act like you got some sense. So this article is Broken Promises. Republicans' budget reconciliation bill will cut Medicare. So let's talk about Medicare. Do let me know in the chat. Do any of you depend on Medicare? Myers says you giving bad information that are dangerous things in the bill that affects low-income people. It's not about getting bad information. It's about giving the information. See, I don't come up with the rules. I come to know the rules and I share the rules because when you know how to move accordingly. By not putting the information out, that does no one any service. What does you the service is when you know, so you know how to move. Because you got a lot of people that don't know. So putting this information out, So it's just like, oh, snap, this is what's going on. I'm going to have to kind of switch how I'm moving. Maybe even pick up or relocate if I no longer want to live where I'm living because of said laws, regulations, and things that have taken place. But when you don't know, that's the dangerous period. That's that dangerous time when you don't know. Because you can't protect yourself. You can't protect your loved ones. Smart people ask questions. I say that all day, every day, whenever I go on live. You ask questions because that's how you get to the information. Each one, teach one. You spread the information. That is how we learn. So you need to know what you don't know. So that's what I come on here and I help people. I help people get the information so they know how to move accordingly. And to this live is no different. It's no different. This is what this channel is about. So if you're here for that type of thing, welcome, welcome, welcome. Because we elevate over here. I share the information that's not being put out there to you on mainstream because, remember, they don't want you to know. Therefore, you can't adjust and move accordingly. They want you to be in the blind. They want things to be secrecy. So therefore, little things can be slipped in because they're like, well, these people, they ain't going to read. They don't know. They don't do no research. So we'll just slide this in there. So when stuff get funky and they want to try to take us to court, we going to pull out these documents and show them like, this always been in the T's and C's. It ain't my fault that you didn't take the time out to read it and get to know your laws. It's been here. But listen, I'm coming to you letting you know what's in these T's and C's. So you're prepared. Because a lot of these things, it's not being talked about and it's not favorable for us as American people. We need to know what the freak is going on. That's what I do over here. So if you want to still stay in the blind and the goddamn the land of the abyss, this ain't the place for you, baby. This is not the place for you. This ain't the place for you. But that's all right because we find our tribes. So those of you who want to be in the know, you are in the right place. I promise you. You're going to leave knowing more information you're going to leave having more information than you had before you came. I promise you that. I promise you that. So let's get to it. Class is in session, honor students. Since taking control of Congress, the White House Republican leaderships have ranked and file members have reported promises not to undermine Medicare and Medicaid benefits. So the Trump administration, their promise was like, listen, I know we got a lot of movement. But I promise you, like, we not going to undermine, we not going to mess with, like, the Medicaid and the Medicare. We promise. Look at me. Don't I look like I have an honest face? Like, this is what they said. With the introduction of the House patches of the One Big Bill Act, they have broken that promise. They have broken that promise. They said, listen, we promise we're not going to do this. Next day, what did they say in my SpongeBob voice? 3 hours later, all the promises broken. The Republican tax bill takes direct aim at Medicare, gutting eligibility and restricting access to benefits while also cutting Medicaid in ways that would harm people who are duly eligible for both programs. For low income, older adults and people with disabilities, the health and economic ramifications of these cuts would be devastating. Y'all let me know if y'all singers in here talk your talk. How do you feel about these cuts? Because some of y'all, listen, it's about to impact you on probably your next check. Your next check probably going to be looking a little different. It's going to be looking a little different. But at least you're going to understand why. Because you came across my channel and she got into some things. And what I said probably didn't make you feel warm and fuzzy. But it's not about that. It's about putting the truth out here and letting you know what's going on. I'm putting it out here in a way. I'm putting it out in a way that you understand it and there is no confusion. The Republican tax bill would directly cut Medicare eligibility. The bill would terminate Medicare coverage for many individuals in lawful immigration status, with a lawful immigration status who have worked and paid taxes in the U.S. for decades. This is a significant departure from current longstanding policy, which recognizes eligibility for everyone who has paid sufficient Social Security and Medicare taxes on wages to be considered fully insured. Medicare already prohibits payments for care for anyone who is undocumented, exposing that the Republican lawmakers' claims about the effect of the provision are false. Without or revoking Medicare eligibility from legally present or older adults and people with disabilities who have paid in and continuing to collect Medicare taxes on their wages is deeply unfair and a betrayal of the American values. So what this is saying is that if you are if you have a lawful immigration status and have worked and paid taxes in the U.S., you're not going to be eligible for Medicare. So even if you paid into it, this big, beautiful bill act is saying that if you have a lawful immigration status, you're not going to be able to receive it. Y'all know he's trying to deport them anyway. So he like, all right, well, while you're here, you're not going to get these benefits. You're not going to get these benefits. We trying to find you. We trying to get to you. We trying to round you up. We're trying to encourage you to self-deport. But while you're here, you're no longer going to be able to receive these Medicare benefits, period. Medicare already prohibits payment for care for anyone who is undocumented, exposing that Republican lawmakers' claims about the effect of this provision are false. In addition, the bill would cut off these individuals' access to the Affordable Care Act, ACA, tax credits that would make buying private health insurance affordable once they are ineligible for Medicare. Because current federal laws already restricts Medicaid eligibility for people with lawful status who do not have a green card, many of these individuals will likely end up uninsured. So it's saying, y'all, the Affordable Care Act, that was formerly the Obamacare. When Trump got in office, he just changed the name. He was like, I ain't like the Obamacare. I just did what I could to tweak it, change the name. But really, we probably just need to be changing it all the way together because I don't see the sense of having it around if I don't even feel like it makes sense. So don't be surprised if while he's in office, there's a whole change up with what is now known as the Affordable Care Act. I heard him speak on that. He's still not happy with it, but it's still here. It's something. So what they're saying is not only will these lawful immigrant, these people who are who don't have legal status here in the U.S., they're not going to be able to have Medicare, and they also aren't going to be able to access like the affordable, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. So they just going to be out here. It's just making it very difficult for them to get insurance. So a lot of them will likely end up without insurance. Yeah, the bill would make Medicare unaffordable to people with low incomes. How many of y'all, who got low income in here? Cheese high, eggs high, low income. Low income. The bill would make Medicare unaffordable for low incomes. The bill traps people with Medicare in a red tape by stopping the streamlining Medicaid eligibility and enrollment rules. These rules modernize outdated policies and make it easier for older adults and people with disabilities to enroll and keep Medicaid and Medicare saving programs that help pay Medicare costs. The Congressional Budget Office projects that without these rules in place, fewer people would enroll in Medicaid and MSPs despite being eligible. Nearly 1.4 million low-income people with Medicare, more than 10% of the duly eligible population, will lose critical cost-sharing assistance that covers Medicare's $185 a month Part B premium that helps them to afford the needed care. People who would lose this financial assistance are already living on limited incomes. Their dollars will be stretched even further, forcing some to choose between paying health care and other needs like food, rent, increasing risk of eviction. So right now, with these changes to the Medicare and how it's impacting the low-income people, it's going to make it harder for them to qualify for it. And already just with the way it's operated now, it's still hard for people. But now it's going to be even harder. 1.4 million people rely on Medicaid. 1.4 million people are classified as low income and rely heavily on Medicaid. Right now, people already was feeling like they had to choose between, taking care of their health, putting more money towards whatever, or putting food on the table. I heard a nurse on the internet tell a story. She was like an ER nurse, and she was like, there was a guy who came into the ER due to I think high blood pressure or something like that. And he said he had not been taking his medication for a little while because he couldn't afford it, because his kids, his three babies, his three young kids needed food. And he said he was in a situation to have to choose between buying the food or getting his medication. And he chose to get his babies the food. And the man, he didn't make it. He died. Yeah, he's no longer with us. He came to the crossroads of, okay, do I get this medication to preserve my life? Or do I take this last that I got, this $30 I got, this $50 I got? Because sometimes that's what it comes down to. Before your next pay period, you got $20, $30, $40, $50, however, and you got to make it stretch. You got to make it work until you get your next deposit. And some people, they don't know when a next deposit is coming. So they're just making these decisions, these life-threatening decisions that no one should have to make. And that's the situation that more people are going to find themselves in. Let me see. Christina says he could have gotten the meds for free directly from the pharmaceutical company that makes the drugs. It's a process, but not many people know about it. Thank you for that information, Christina. It's about sharing information. Here's the thing, you all. So many people don't know a lot, including myself. She questioned, Dr. J, you got a question? You say, so many people don't know a lot. Like, that's why I come on here and I go live, because I learn a lot of information as I deep dive into what's going on, and I don't assume that everybody else know it. So I go live and I just come out here and talk about it and share it. And then, so I share the information. And if some of you already are aware or know more, like, this is a place where you can just put that information out here, because that's what it's about. Like, it's not about, oh, putting out information that don't sound good. Like, it's not about that. I don't care about how the information sounds, you all. It's just about getting the information out there so people can do what they need to do with that information. It doesn't sound good that Medicaid is being cut. So just because it don't sound good, I'm not gonna be like, okay, I ain't finna come out here and tell these people they Medicaid about to be damn gone. They about to have $20. I'm not finna do that, because I know that if you know what the situation is with the Medicaid, you then now have the ability to try to maybe start asking questions that you would have maybe asked before, when you go before somebody at the Social Security office, somebody at the doctor's office, things like that, because you don't know what you don't know. And it's just about sharing information. So I thank any of you, by source. I'm on the MedicareRights.org page. Medicare Rights. Hold on, let me turn my phone around so you guys can see. So let's go up here. Can y'all see that? So if you want to try to find it, y'all see that? MedicareRights.org. Hey, what's up, Erica? Yeah, I mean, my moms be on air. So this is where it's coming from. So I'm just going in this article and I'm reading what it's talking about. This is the source. Here you go. The reason why I used to, you all, go live from like my StreamYard, for some reason, it's I don't know if it's a YouTube thing, but when I would go live on my StreamYard, like, you guys can kind of see things, but it just seemed like it don't get sent out. I don't know. It's like a block. It just, like, people don't know that I'm live when I go through StreamYard. And so when I go through my phone, it's like I can see everyone, everyone can kind of come to my channel and see when I'm live. So that's why I haven't, been on the StreamYard. But normally, I would be on Streamyard and you guys can see things in real time as I'm looking at it. But you all, this is what I'm looking at. Y'all see that? Medicare already prohibits payment for care for anyone who is undocumented, exposing that Republican lawmakers claim about the effect of this provision are false. Talking about, like, with the people, losing Medicare increases the risk of death for people with Medicare. Let me see where we left off at. So people with Medicare whose Medicaid is terminated are also at risk of death. A new study examining the health consequences of losing Medicaid, and with it, the Medicare Part D low-income subsidy, which reduces prescription drug cost sharing, found that individuals who lost Medicaid and LIS experienced 4% to 22% higher mortality than those who retained coverage. So remember, I told y'all the story of the man who went into the ER and his blood pressure was really high. He said he didn't have the resources and things to be able to get his medication, and it resulted in his death. The little bit of money that he did have, he had to put food on the table for his 3 small babies, his kids. So he made a decision to feed his kids. And I'm just gonna let y'all know that's a decision I would make. I think many parents would make if I had to choose to get some medicine or to feed my kids. It's unfortunate that people have to make these type of decisions, but many people have been making these decisions, and according to what we're learning about this Big Beautiful Bill Act, more people will have to make these types of decisions. So those of you who know information about getting medications for free, programs and things like that, share that information. If you're not into content creation, maybe you can try to start up something to where you can put information out there to share with people, because it's a lot of people out here who just don't know. There's a lot of information I don't know. I get into it because I research it, because my content is centered around just the political, what's going on in political streets. And so I come out here and I share information with you all. But a lot of times, I am learning in these lives, just like many of you are. So don't ever think that I'm coming here and I'm just making up stuff. I'm lying. I'm coming out here to share the information that I have found. And I always say, go out there and look for it yourself, because you will find everything that I talk about. I promise you, you are going to find it. And it won't be hard. I'll even tell you sometimes keywords to put in there. Type the Big Beautiful Bill Act and the impact on Medicaid. You know, like, it don't be that hard. It's out there if you want to know. It's out there. The findings build on substantial research linking prescription drugs unaffordability with worse health and higher Medicare spending. Cost barriers have been long found to reduce treatment adherence, leading to poorer outcomes and the need for more costly interventions. So everybody ain't got it. Everybody don't have the resources to go and get the proper medical treatment that they need to live. Everybody don't have it. The bill puts long-term care at risk for people with Medicare. People with Medicare rely primarily on Medicaid, not Medicare, for long-term care. Medicaid paid 61% of all long-term care in 2022, and more than 70% of home and community-based services, HCBS. The bill would undermine access to long-term care, shifting costs to states, likely resulting in cuts of HCBS programs. It would also make it harder for people to qualify for Medicaid coverage and avoid gaps in care. The bill effectively repeals the nursing home minimum staffing rule, endangering the lives of thousands of people with Medicare due to inadequate nursing facility staffing. This is saying this bill is impacting like the number of people that's required to work in a Medicare in a nursing home. So I don't know what the minimum number of people that's required to work in there. So for example, right now, maybe if there's 100 people in a home and it's requiring a staff of 40, then the new bill would say, hey, okay, and instead of requiring a staff of 40, we're going to only require at least a staff of 25. You see what I'm saying? So who is that going to hurt? That's going to hurt the people who are in the facilities to receive treatment, because now this operation has to do more with less. Like many of us have seen on our jobs where they'll let go of people, but the workload and things is still there. So the company is trying to do more with less. So who feels that impact? Who gets the brunt of that when a company tries to do more with less? So right now with this new bill, with these nursing homes, the minimum staffing rule, it's basically, there's a change to it. The bill puts Medicare's future at risk. On top of the cuts, the CBO project that the bill would trigger future massive cuts to Medicare totaling nearly $500 billion due to statutory Pay-As-You-Go Act of 2010. The law kicks in when legislation increases the deficit and would trigger an estimated $45 billion in Medicare cuts for the fiscal year 2026, plus additional cuts to other programs that help adults and people with disabilities. The CBO publication shows examples of how such cuts will be spread across the program. Y'all, everybody ain't got it. Everybody ain't got it. Everybody don't have the means to go out and get private insurance. I was recently hearing about in Trinity, Texas, there's a hospital that just closed, I think probably like last week. They said that they had to close because a lot of their the money comes from like federal, from like, the Medicare, Medicaid, all those things. And they said that there is a delay in receiving the funds from the federal government to pay the bills. They said, and I learned from the article, in rural areas, people primarily receive their medical benefits through like federal programs versus private insurance programs. And so in like in non-rural areas, it's mostly people utilizing the medical resources. They're mostly relying on private insurance. So when you get into like your urban environments, your cities and things like that, your suburbs, mostly people have private insurance. They're not relying on like federal resources for their medical benefits. So the hospitals are getting their money faster versus in the rural areas where they're relying on like the federal government to send in funds for people who are who receive like the Medicare, Medicaid, and things like that. They said it's just a severe delay, and the delay has resulted in some hospitals closing their doors, and some have, or and then the ones who are still open, many of them have had to cut head counts because they just ain't got it. They can't afford to operate the hospital, like to keep it going. They don't have the resources, the money. It costs money to keep these hospitals going. The article carries on to say that these actions make it very clear Republicans are breaking their promise not to undermine Medicare and cut benefits. The Republican tax bill would cut coverage and access to care for millions of older adults and people with disabilities, putting their lives and health and financial stability at risk. Take action. The reconciliation bill is now headed to the Senate, where it will face further deliberation and votes. Senators need to hear from public now about the dangers of the bill. Yeah, this is where we are. So, y'all got y'all source. What's up, Veronica? That's it. That's the impact for Medicaid. Christina said you can get multiple dental insurances. Wait 1 year to use the plans concurrently and have healthy teeth. Most don't know that either. They all have a waiting time periods. Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. Let me see. The big, beautiful one. Sure. Let's see. Let me see if I can find my other article. There was one. Let me see if I can find it. I wanted to kind of go talk about the taxes on the Social Security. My internet, everything had closed out on my little pages I had up. So let me see. I'm just trying to find it again. Okay. Does Trump's big beautiful bill include no tax on Social Security? What you need to know. So this is Telegram. It says telegram.com. This was an article that was put out today. Let me see. Hold on. Move this down. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act passed by the U.S. House early Thursday morning includes two of his major campaign pledges: to remove taxes on tips and overtime, but the Social Security recipients get the break. But will the Social Security recipients get the break they've been waiting for? So when he was running on trying to, he was saying he wanted to, I guess, remove tax on the Social Security. So a lot of people were here for that, and that contributed to getting their vote. The One Big Beautiful Bill is a massive proposed tax and spending package loaded with initiatives that align with Trump's agenda as it currently written. The bill includes major changes to Medicaid, food stamps, border security taxes, and more that have the potential to affect millions of Americans. Trump also proposed eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits. In Massachusetts, over 1.3 million people receive Social Security benefits, according to December 2023 Social Security Administration. Did the no tax on Social Security make it into the 1,116-page bill? Is tax on Social Security part of the Big Beautiful Bill Act? No. See that? Social Security programs cannot be changed through this budget reconciliation process, according to the Hill. According to the SSA, recipients will pay federal income taxes on their benefits if their combined income, 50% of their benefit amount plus any other earned income, exceeds $25,000 a year filing individual or $32,000 a year filing jointly. So that's not a lot of money. So it don't take much for you to have to be paying these taxes. That's not a lot of money at all. That's not a lot. So it's easy for you to get into having to be paying taxes if your income exceeding $25,000 a year. The Big Beautiful Bill includes other tax deductions for seniors. Instead of no tax on Social Security, the bill includes other tax relief for seniors. Under the bill, people over the age of 65 could deduct an additional $4,000 from their taxes if they make less than $75,000 or $150,000 filing jointly. People who make more than that are eligible for smaller deductions as their income increases. The deduction would last through 2028. So, through Social Security, they will be paying taxes. You know, the seniors will still pay taxes. However, the bill is saying if you're over 65, we'll give you like an additional like credit. So you'll get additional $4,000 from the taxes if you make like less than $75,000. So you're still paying taxes, but they're going to kind of give you back some money, a credit, if your income is like under $75,000 for a single person or $150,000 for a person filing jointly. So I would say that would impact like probably like the vast majority of people who qualify or who are on Social Security. Okay, so that's all that it says there. So let me see if it'll let me. There was a hyperlink for the pages. Let me see if it'll take me there. Okay, so let me share my screen. So this is the Big Beautiful Bill Act. So this is it. This is a document. It's 1,116 pages. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything research. Secure rural schools. Enhancement. I guess it's just telling you everything that's in here. Loan repayment. Deferment, forbearance. Workforce Pell Grants. It's a lot in here. Yager's Farm says the Trump administration will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits. President Trump himself has said it over and over again. Let's see. It's so large. I'm trying to see if maybe. Okay. So let's see. Let me see. Okay, so let's go here. So we're on the whitehouse.gov. Fact check, President Trump will always protect Social Security and Medicare. So remember, this is all we're in May. So this was this. You see, this says March 11, 2025. So this is what he said. Let's see what he's saying as of March 11, 2025. The Trump administration will not cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits. President Trump himself said it over and over again. But remember, like, okay, this was March 11th. We in May. Did that still stand? Either, let me see, what else? Fact, the U.S. Government Accountability Office estimates taxpayers lose as much as $521 billion annually to fraud, and most of that is within entitlement programs such as Medicare and Medicaid. Fact, over the past 2 decades, the federal government has made an estimate 2.7 trillion in improper payments, the majority of which come in the form of payments to deceased individuals of those who no longer are eligible for government programs. Fact, the Social Security Administration made an estimate 72 billion in improper payments between 2015 and 2022. Fact, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services estimated it made 140 plus billion in improper payments in 2024 alone. What kind of person doesn't support eliminating wasting, fraud, and abuse in government spending that ultimately costs taxpayers more money? Keep in mind, this was updated March 11, 2025. We are now, today's date is May 23rd, 2025. Sonny, you said those are lies. Those are lies. So this is what it's still, this is what's out here. So I went into what people are saying, what's outlined in the big, beautiful bill. And then I bumped that against what the White House has on the whitehouse.org. This is, let's see, can y'all see it? Whitehouse.org. So I'm on that. Listen, the Trump administration website where the information should come from. So what he said, and let's see. Unearthed audio. Trump Social Security Commissioner says he had to Google Social Security to try to figure it out. What the heck is a commissioner of Social Security? He like, what you say my job is now? Sonny, you say Trump think it's 9 stages of cancer. Trump, it says, Trump must have promised voters that Social Security would go untouched if he returned to the White House, but it's already clear that the Republican White House has destabilized the system to a degree without modern precedents. There was another article I want to show you all. Let me see if I can find it again. It was centered around, let me see, the big, beautiful impact. Because there are some people who believe that it's more of a benefit for the rich. Let me see if I can find. I had a really good article that had some information before my laptop shut down. Let's try this. Let me see. Okay, so let's get into this article. Y'all see this? This is on NBCnews.com. Let me see. Let's see if y'all can see. NBCnews.com. One Big Beautiful Bill Act. There's a stark contrast between the effects on high earners and those on low-income households in a sprawling legislative package House Republicans passed Thursday. The bulk of the financial benefits in the legislation, called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, would flow to the wealthiest Americans courtesy of tax-cutting measures such as those for business owners. investors and homeowners in high tax areas, experts say. However, low earners would be worse off, they said. That's largely because Republicans partially offset those tax cuts, estimated to cost $4 trillion or more, with reductions to social safety net programs such as Medicaid and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. The tax and spending package now heads to the Senate, where it may face further changes. It skews pretty heavily towards the wealthy. It skews heavily towards the wealthy. The Congressional Budget Office, a nonpartisan federal scorekeeper, estimates income for the bottom 10% of households will fall by 2% in 2027 and by 4% in 2033 as a result of the bill's changes. By contrast, those in the top 10% would get an income boost from the legislation, 4% in 2027 and 2% in 2033. CBO found. The Yale Budget Lab analysis found a similar dynamic. The bottom 20% of households who make less than $14,000 a year would see their annual income fall about $800 in 2027 on average. $800. So right now, as we see things go, like things are constantly going up in cost versus down. So really no one can afford to take an L at any point in 2025, 26, or 27 and beyond. Everything continues to go up. Inflation is real. This article was saying that based off of the way this Big Beautiful Bill Act is written and the budget, the cuts that are in place, it will have those who make less than $14,000 a year, they would lose about $800 annually in annual income in the year 2027. The top 20% who earn over $128,000 a year would see theirs grow by $9,700 on average in 2027. The top 1% would gain $63,000. Okay, so y'all help me understand this. How, Sway, why is it that those who are in the bottom 20%, wow, y'all, that's crazy, yo, to think that there are people, there's 20% of people, households in America who make less than $14,000 a year. Is where them people at? What kind of job are you doing? How are you living? $14,000 a year, y'all. 20%, the bottom 20% of households. There are people in the 20% who are making less than $14,000 a year, and then this is saying that they can expect to receive a cut of about $800. They can't afford hell. They need 800 times goddamn 65 to be attached to that 14,000. These people can't afford to lose $5. This is the issue I'm talking about. But it's in the top 20% who earns over $128,000 a year. They're set to grow to get about $9,700 on average, in addition to their already annual income. And the top 1% would gain $63,000. I know you effing lying. This that stuff I'm talking about. Y'all die hard, die on the cross Trump supporters. How do you rationalize this? Do y'all still want me to go back to the White House website where he said, oh, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that? What am I supposed to do? Like, and actually these numbers right here, this ain't even got nothing to do with what I was talking about with the Medicare and Medicaid. This is just something else. It's just dealing with the regular people. The Yale and CBO analysis don't account for the last-minute changes to the House legislation, including stricter work requirements for Medicaid. It skews pretty heavily towards the wealthy, says Ernie Tedeschi, director of economics at the Yale Budget Lab and former chief economics at the White House Council of Economic Advisors during the Biden administration. The legislation compounds the regressive nature of the Trump administration's recent tariff policies. Economics said, if you incorporated the Trump administration's hike in tariffs, this would be even more skewed against lower and working class families. So y'all, this ain't even factoring in the whole situation with the tariffs. Y'all take out the whole situation with tariffs, and this is what the numbers look like. We ain't even throwing it. Y'all know when you throw in a situation with tariffs, that's going to make it that much worse. Crazy, yo. This is crazy. Most tax cuts in the bills go to the top earning households. There are several ways the House bill skews towards the wealthiest Americans, experts say. Among them are more valuable tax break tied to business income, state and local taxes, and estate tax, experts said. These tax breaks disproportionately flow to higher earnings, experts said. For example, the bottom 80% of earners would see no benefit from the House proposal to raise the SALT cap to $40,000 from the current $10,000, according to the Tax Foundation. The bill also preserves a lower top tax rate at 37% set by 2017 Tax Cuts and Job Act, which would have expired at the end of the year. It kept a tax break intact that follows investors to shield their capital gains from tax by funneling money into opportunity zones. Trump 2017 tax law created a tax break with the aim of incentivizing investment in lower income areas designated by state governors. Taxpayers with capital gains are highly concentrated among the wealthy, according to the Tax Policy Center. All told, 60% of the bill's tax cuts would go to the top 20% of households, and more than a third would go to those making $460,000 or more. So, how many of y'all fall into that 60%? Or how many of you make $460,000 and above annually? Because if you make $460,000 annually and above, you're winning from the Big Beautiful Bill Act when it comes to tax cuts. Why many low earners are worse off. That said, more than 8 in 10 households overall would get a tax cut in 2026 if the bill is enacted, the Tax Policy Center found. Lower earners stand to benefit from provisions including a higher standard deduction, temporary enhanced child tax credit, and tax break tied to tip income and car loan interest, for example, experts said. However, some of those benefits may not be as valuable as they seem at first glance. Expert says, for example, roughly 1/3 of tip workers don't pay federal income tax. They wouldn't benefit from the proposed tax break on tips. It's structured as a tax deduction, which doesn't benefit households without tax liability. So this article, they're saying roughly 1/3 of tip workers don't pay federal income tax. They wouldn't benefit from the proposed tax break because he's like, they already don't pay federal income taxes anyway. So a lot of people who work from taxes already before the Big Beautiful Bill Act didn't pay federal taxes. Meanwhile, lower income households, which rely on federal safety net programs, would see cuts to Medicaid, SNAP, and benefits linked to student loans and Affordable Care Act premiums, said Kent, an economics faculty director at Penn Wharton Budget Model. Alicia said, I was a bartender and waitress, and sometimes I was forced to pay tax on tips I didn't make. That's crazy. That said, if you're a low income and don't get SNAP, Medicaid, or ACA premium support, you will be slightly better off. Some high earners would pay more in taxes. In a sense, it may not be surprising most tax benefits accrue to the wealthy. How long we've been hearing that? It seems like I've been hearing that forever. The U.S. has among the most progressive tax systems in the developed world. Smetter said the top 10% of households pay about 70% of all federal taxes. He said such households would get about 65% of the total value of legislation, according to Penn Wharton analysis. So they're basically saying, okay, the top 10% of the households pay more in federal taxes. So because of that, much of the tax cuts that are proposed, that are in the Big Beautiful Bill Act, are geared towards them, because they're paying more in federal taxes. That's what they mean in this statement. A subset of high earners, 17% of the top 1% of households who earn at least 1.1 million a year will pay more in tax, according to the Tax Policy Center. In part, this is due to limits on the ability of some pass-through businesses to fully deduct their state and local taxes and limit on all deductions for top bracket households, wrote Howard Gleckman, senior fellows at the Tax Policy Center. So the rationale is, okay, well, yeah, the rich, the people, the rollers, the high rollers, they are going to receive more of the benefits with the tax cuts because they are paying 70% of all federal taxes. So those of us who aren't in the top 10%, including myself, they're saying, hey, Sheik, you're not paying the majority of the federal taxes. So those who are paying the majority of the federal taxes, they're getting some tax breaks. Carmelita says, I was now in hardship. I only had 1 meal a day, reached out to several agencies and was turned down. I bet you were. I remember when I was laid off in like 2011 and I tried to, I applied for the EBT, like the food stamps, and they were like, no, you make too much because we see in the system that you currently receive unemployment. And unemployment at that time was, after tax, like $264 a week. So, and I had 3 children. Yeah, they were like, you make too much money. So I know what it is to need a resource that you've paid into and it not be available. But many of people who come over here who are not American citizens come and they just get the red carpet treatment and get the yes to all of these resources, including the white South Africans who just arrived. Come Monday, it'll be 2 weeks that they've been here. So it's very unfortunate, but this is how it is. It's like we pay into these resources, but when we need them, it's just all this red tape, and then we're told no. I've heard so many times, like, people who need to apply for like Social Security and things, like the runaround that they get just to finally get the yes and the approval. And these people have like paid into this like much of their lives, and then when they need it, it's just so hard. Alicia said, not fair. Immigrants get it and we don't. Yeah. They've gone on record and talked about, I've heard this one, it was when they, Florida been rounding up a lot of illegal immigrants since Trump got into office in January. And the sheriff there, I can't remember his name, but he does a lot of press conferences when they talk about doing big stings and things like that. And he said that one of the women who they rounded up, hey, what's up, yoggers? One of the women, she said that she came over to the country illegally. Someone from the government, during the Biden administration, met her at the border. They took her to the government offices, the agencies, to basically jumpstart her benefits and things. She had to, I think, do a DNA test. Her child had to do a DNA test just to make sure that was like her child. So they did that. She said they gave her what she needed for like food stamps. Like they basically just did everything for her, told her what she would need, as far as with the medical benefits. And then they asked her, okay, now that you're here, where do you want to go? And she said, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to Florida. And Florida, the governor has said that that's the hot spot. Most of the illegal immigrants that enter into the U.S., their final destination, where they want to go, is Miami. So that's why like a lot of illegal immigrants are there. That's just where they want to go. And she said that she told the people at the office, the government office, hey, I want to go to Miami. And she said that they put her on a plane and they flew her to, Miami. And this was done by the government. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they didn't know that she was here or anything like that. They knew she was here. They just went ahead and just said, oh, okay. They said, welcome to the U.S. Like, they welcomed her literally with open arms. And she's on record. She's an illegal immigrant. But she's like, yo, like, it was the government who welcomed me. It was the government who welcomed me, just like it's the government who welcomed the white South Africaners. Trump welcomed them just like Biden welcomed the ones that came in from the Latin countries. Just like he welcomed the black and brown people. Biden welcomed them and Trump welcomed the white ones. So what's the difference? That's the question I always ask when I go live. What's the difference? Thank you so much, Alicia. You have a good evening. Thank you for the sub. I hope to see you again in the future. Let me see. Toxic says not all immigrants don't spread information, depend on the asylum status, but not all get those benefits. No, not all of them get the benefits, but a lot of them do. And this woman who I just shared the story of, that the sheriff in Florida gave, she wasn't over here through no asylum, and she got the benefits. So no, it's not going to be all, but a good number of them are. She was just someone who just illegally came over, and she said that the Biden administration just welcomed her with open arms. So she got rounded up by ICE because she wasn't over here the right way, even though she was like the administration, the Biden administration knew that she was over here. Toxic says South Africans is something else. Crazy times. Yeah, like what's the justification behind them coming over here when the leader of South Africa just visited the White House earlier this week, and he sat down with Trump and was like, Trump, these are lies. This is not, white South Africaners are not being killed, knocked over their head, and their land taken. That is a whole lie. That is a lie. I talked about that in depth on my live yesterday. Check that out. It's been shown that the footage and things that is been debunked, the things that President Biden showed at the White House on the screen to the leader of South Africa, as far as with the video at the end of his little presentation of all the cross lined up that he said was a symbol of all the deaths of the white South Africans. It came out that was a whole lie. That, first of all, that wasn't even South Africa. That was somewhere in the Congo or something, but it's a whole story centered around the crosses. And the crosses had something to do with a white couple who was killed from a home invasion, y'all. But the true story isn't anything to do with the narrative that Trump put out there, centered around all those white crosses going up and down the road in South Africa, being linked to the deaths of white people. That's not true. Like, go look it up. I talked about it yesterday on my live. If you want to know more information on that, it's on part 2 of my live. So it's out there. I mean, it's out there. And it's not beyond trust the African leader. You go do your own research. I always say, go out there and look up things for yourself and see what you find. Reuters, the website, Reuters.com has said, hell, that the document, the images and things that he used, they were taken from another story. It wasn't anything that had to do with the story that he gave while he was in the White House. And here's the thing. As of yesterday, the White House had not come out to even make a comment on these remarks that I'm saying. So if it was true and they can back it up and everything they said, why didn't they come out to clarify? Or I watched Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, someone when she was at a conference yesterday, asked her a question regarding it, and she got offensive, and she became defensive and did not really answer the question. She just kind of got mad that the question was asked about the accuracy of the information that was shared at the White House, and she rudely moved on. So I always say, go do your own research. That's what it's about. I come out here to share the information that I find out here from me doing my own research. And I always highly, highly encourage you all to do your own. To do your own research. See for yourself. Right now, this is one area where I was looking at. Listen, Caroline up there, like, listen, I'm doing my job to say or do whatever these people pay me to say and do. Yeah, so she's up there definitely doing her job. Yeah, she's definitely up there doing her job, regardless of how crazy she may look or sound. But thanks for joining, Nick. You have a good night. So Caroline, she's up there delivering the message that she's been instructed to deliver. I can't do it. That's why people say, hey, Sheik, why don't you do journalism, politics? I can't do mainstream media because I'm not with the lies. I'm going to do my research. And oftentimes what I find, it's contrary to the messaging that a lot of the mainstream media is putting out there. The mainstream media, they're working for these big brands, CNN, Fox, MSNBC. These journalists, they're paid to push a certain narrative. With me, I'm just a small content creator out here just trying to just get through life like many of you. So I do my own research. I come out here, I share with you all what I find, and I highly, highly encourage you all to do the same. Always, smart people ask questions. Never have anyone to have you to feel bad for asking questions, because the smartest people ask questions. We seek out the information. We do our research. We share. We elevate. We require people to come up to our level. We don't go down to theirs. And it's simple as that, Each one teach one. And that's what my little channel is rooted in. I have 2 YouTube channels. This one, Sheik Speaks on it, which I talk politics, and then I have a second channel where I talk about other shenanigans going on in the world. For example, P. Diddy. I've got a couple of videos out there talking about his trial on my second channel, Sheik Speaks. So if you're interested in hearing my take on that, check me out on Sheik Speaks. This is Sheik Speaks on it. This is my second channel. It's now my larger channel because I spend more time over here. But I do have another channel that's called Sheik Speaks, and I just react to just different things that are going on in the world. So it's pretty much just everything. This channel is kind of reserved for just kind of politics. So I kind of separate the two by that type of content. So go check me out over there. Follow me on both platforms. Just don't know which one I'm going to pop up on. But if you want to know my take on just what's going on out here in these streets in the USA, follow me. Like, share, and subscribe. I like to say when I end each live is that I want you to go out into the world and show up in a way in which you want others to show up for you. Like attracts like. Give off good energy. Take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself. Sonny, you said she's about the truth. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and one another. It's dark out here. I'm sitting in front of my house, so it'll be dark. You can't see me if I let me flip it around. I'm in the dark. So thank you all so much for coming through, tapping in with me. If you want to show support, like the video. I'm really happy with my likes tonight. I got over 100. A lot of times I'll have over 100 people that come through. Really, it'd be thousands, but my likes don't be liking like they need to. So I do appreciate the love for just liking the video. If you want to show support in other ways, my Cash App is $speak50. My lovely mod have put it in the chat. You can send me a super chat. Listen, any type of support. I welcome any type of support. Just you coming through and watching my video. How about that? Just watch the video. Watch the content. Become a political honor student. I have the Temu prices right now, $2.99. So I have a 1-tier membership for $2.99. Your name will show up in color. I will prioritize your comments. It can get crazy in this chat. So seeing color, it definitely helps when I'm able to see color. So I can see color if you're a member. And if you send a super chat for however little, however much you choose. But it just pops. It pops so I can see it. So yes, thank you all so much. It's gotten dark out here, but it's been another wonderful, wonderful live. I enjoy coming out here to talk with you all and just share the information that I find. And I certainly learn a lot from you all in the comments as you share the information you have as well. So I thank you. My apologies if I did not see your comments, but again, to get my attention with the comments, if it shows up in color, it makes it easier for me to see it. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video, share the video. Check out my other content as well. If you're new to my channel, yesterday I took a deep dive into the visit with the South African leader and President Trump at the White House. We deep dived into that. I also talked about other things that are outlined in the Big Beautiful Bill Act, because there's a lot. So I talked about just all the different things today. I kind of went into specifics centered around like your Medicaid, Social Security, and things like that, because right now a lot of people are in their feelings centered around the Medicaid and Social Security piece. Like that has a lot of people's attention. A lot of people are talking. So that's why I was like, yeah, let me spin the block and come back out here and talk about it. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful, safe weekend. It's a holiday weekend here in the US of A. So I don't know when I will be back live. I'll be with my family tomorrow. Celebrating, the holiday with my family. So I'm sure I'll be back between Sunday and Monday. So stay tuned. Like the video, share, subscribe. Take care of yourselves, one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself. And you all have a wonderful night. And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.